Welcome to Esports in a Nutshell Weekly, having fun with the world of esports 1 week at a time. I'm your host Mark Register, and the guy leading the music division is Brian DiBiagio. We have a wonderful show for you. We have the top stories, including the SK and Luminosity contract debacle, and the reality of Heroes of the Storm situation. We have a rapid-fire list of everything in the space to keep you ahead of the curve. We have a breakdown of big questions for the week. We talk with ESI about the future of speedrunning, and we have highlights from League of Legends, LCK Summer Rocks Tigers vs Samsung Galaxy, and succinct highlights from the best matches in Dota, Counter-Strike, Hearthstone, Mortal Kombat, and Overwatch. Now, for this week's top stories, Jacob Wolf at ESPN reports managing director of SK Gaming, Alex Mula, poaches Luminosity's players and staff who signed contracts with SK Gaming while still under their letter of intent contract with Luminosity. It starts back in December 2015 when the players sign a contract of intention with Luminosity to sign their 2-year contract within the next 2 weeks. In good faith, Luminosity's Steve Maida starts paying the long-term contract rates. Fallen expresses the players are somewhat disgruntled with the organization. SK Gaming's managing director Alex Mula shoots Fallen an email about hiring him. Fallen replies, quote, "We're under contract, but if you want to, you can talk to Luminosity CEO Steve Maida." End quote. Alex continues talking with the players of the team as the players push off the signing of their 2-year contract with Luminosity. Fallen told his teammates what they were doing was wrong, even though he wanted to leave LG and create his own team at Moments. The whole team decides to sign with SK Gaming and start July 1st. Alex promises to pay for any legal trouble that may arise. The players finally bring up the situation to their boss, Steve, after they sign. Steve says, quote, "Alex Mula propositioned, bribed, manipulated, and conned my players, of whom only a few speak English, and did so with no legal representation. He manipulated my players into thinking LG was the devil and coached them on how to break their contracts with false information and lies, all while telling them he would protect them if LG took legal action by paying for any legal fees. He even went so far as to personally write the communications to Luminosity for the players." End quote. After talking with Steve, they decide to stay with Luminosity. Fallen says, quote, "We realized we wanted to stay building the history we have been building this entire year with LG. We feel proud to be a part of it. That's why we wanted to stay where we feel comfortable." End quote. SK Gaming says they will pursue litigation if the players do not start on their team July 1st. Everyone lawyers up. Bryce Blum, representing Luminosity Gaming, Ryan Morrison, representing the players, WESA Commissioner Petro Fringuelli, representing SK Gaming, who is replaced with Mike Constantine Ewald. Founding member of SK Gaming and ESL Ralph Reichart sells his shares in SK Gaming to get out of the pressure cooker. Given there are no anti-poaching rules in Counter-Strike tournaments, including E-League, E-League Commissioner Min-Si Ko tweets out, quote, "There are no plans to sanction either team. We look forward to having SK Gaming compete in Week 3 and Luminosity return for the playoffs." Callum Leslie and Dylan Walker report Gwang Bok Kim, manager for top Heroes of the Storm team MVP Black, tells Korea's Daily Esports, quote, "There are no tournaments outside the Blizzard-sponsored ones. I don't know whether MVP Black's players will continue playing Heroes after this year. You don't earn much, even if you win all the international tournaments. My players are still young, so they still have opportunities to play in different games. Both my players and I are sad by the reality we have to face despite being the best in the world." End quote. Top teams average less than $1,000 a month. With Blizzard's release of Overwatch, they are cannibalizing their Heroes of the Storm player pool as many are moving over to the new game. When asked for comment, major teams that have already dropped their Heroes of the Storm divisions, including EDG, SK Gaming, G2 Esports, and Complexity, responded with, quote, "Morheim, stop trying to make HOTS happen. It's not going to happen." End quote. And now, here's the rapid-fire rundown of everything that's happening in esports to give you a table of contents if you're feeling scholarly, or a cliff notes if you're feeling, Twitch streamer Summit gambles away $98,000. Whoops. Bleacher Report launches their esports app, eStream. Astro announces a June 7th launch for their esports channel. Behemoth Comcast Xfinity sponsors ESL and Evil Geniuses. Panda Global goes to boot camp in Las Vegas at the Downtown Grand. HyperX sponsors Gordon Hayward to wear their headsets when he streams. French TV station TF1 posts a Twitter pic of their plan of attack on the esports market. TSM hires esports psychologist Weldon Green as their League of Legends assistant coach. Australia's largest sporting event for university student athletes, Unigames, makes League of Legends a sanctioned sport. CCP Games Project Arena shows off their Tron-like full-body VR and motion controls game, showing that the future of competitive gaming could incorporate more physicality. Cloud9 wins Dolby's Agents Rising Overwatch LAN and $5,000. And nice work to Clutch at fourth. The event's peak concurrent viewership hit 45,000 viewers on Twitch. Former 100 Thieves players Johnny and Examples team up with My Guy and Mochila to compete at MLG's Call of Duty Open Bracket Tournament. Timo Brautigam reports new Counter-Strike tournament organizer Skyla pits all male and all female teams against each other with a $17,000 prize pool. Chinese conglomerate Kiho 360 hosts their Clash Royale tournament on Skong TV. 5Kong TV and Wang Sasong's Panda TV, with HK Esports CEO Derek Cheung battling it out with Wang Sasong, hitting 200,000 viewers. Games Academy, who joins Tempo Storm in February, is turned down for E-League. They look for a buyer and finds one with Immortals, who makes them their new Counter-Strike team under the Immortals banner. EU Call of Duty World League match Splice vs. Hypergames is postponed after being hit with DDoS attacks. Their North American League match between Envious and Elevate is postponed due to server issues, and another in their Australia-New Zealand League as well. Veteran charity organization Operation Supply Drop brings Stephen Ellis, Snoopy, onto their advisory board, who also serves as Facebook's strategic partnership manager, co-founder of Player Resource Center, and sleeps 20 minutes a day. E-League's first broadcast ropes in 500,000 concurrent viewers on average for the TV broadcast, and peak concurrent viewership on Twitch Tuesday through Friday at 92,000 peak concurrent and 4.3 million non-unique views, beating out ESPN's Heroes of the Dorm with an average of 96,000 concurrent viewers. Esports Observer reports Supercell, maker of Clash Royale with Cheese, is not Tencent's first mobile game move, as they bought minority stakes in mobile game companies Glue Mobile and Pocket Gems. After years of integrating physics and collision detection in their titles, Madden 17 has the most realistic, lifelike handling of balls ever. Fun fact, when playing as the New England Patriots, you will have the option to choose your ball inflation levels. You've been waiting for me to answer your big questions of the week, and I'm here to deliver. Let's get to it. Jacob Wolf at ESPN reports managing director of SK Gaming, Alex Mula, poaches Luminosity's players and staff who signed contracts with SK Gaming while still under their letter of intent contract with Luminosity. Who's in the right, who's in the wrong, and what can be done next time to avoid this debacle? Just like in all relationships, this is a two-way, or rather many-way street. Alex Mula should have gone through Luminosity's CEO Steve Maida and made a deal to buy the team, just like Immortals did with Tempo Storm. Luminosity players and team captain Fallen should not have pushed off their signing their contract with Luminosity, and Steve should have put his foot down and made them sign, given he was already fulfilling his end of the contract. Now, with the lawyers in place, the best course of action: step away from the situation and move on. Another solution to this problem will come when more money is involved. Agents and managers. It's the Jerry Maguires of the world that are built to deal with situations like this so their clients don't have to. Players spend most every waking moment honing their craft, not learning and negotiating through contracts. So yes, the players messed up, and yes, they shouldn't be involved in that mess in the first place. Gwang Bok Kim, manager of top Heroes of the Storm team MVP Black, tells Korea's Daily Esports there's not enough tournaments or money to convince him and his players to stay in the competitive scene. Why isn't Heroes of the Storm taking off as an esports title? Heroes of the Storm is built for the casual user. It's built so you can pick it up and have fun immediately. Dota is so competitive because it's built that way. First, the metagame is constantly changing. It's difficult to master, and if one of your team members are not pulling their weight, your team loses. Heroes of the Storm patches are minor. It's easy to master, and if one of your team members are not pulling their weight, your team can still win as kills and objectives are pooled together rather than attributed to one person. Heroes is still a very popular game, just not for esports, but Blizzard will continue to organize and pay out prize pools because it's advertising for the casual user. The only downfall: the lack of money will lower the quality of the top tier teams. EU Call of Duty World League match Splice vs Hyper Games is postponed after being hit with DDoS attacks. Their North American League match between Envious and Elevate is postponed due to server issues, and another in their Australia-New Zealand League as well. Are these attacks every organization faces, and are they rogue attacks or strategic attacks? Everyone faces DDoS attacks on a daily basis. It's an ongoing battle that requires skilled engineers to constantly adjust their infrastructure and security measures. Because conspiracy theories are fun, let's have fun with it. What if ESL or Valve are going into digital back alleys and paying a mercenary or one of the many DDoS attacks for hire sites to knock out their image of stability so they get COD players who are sick of servers crashing to go play Counter-Strike? Of course, that's not true, but maybe. TSM hires esports psychologist Weldon Green as their League of Legends assistant coach. Why is hiring a psychologist as a coach a good idea, and why is there a high turnover for TSM? Esports are a game of the mind. You don't need to do suicide sprints and deadlifts to keep up. You need to meditate and talk out your issues with your teammates. I'm feeling this. That is in the realm of a psychologist. Why is there a high turnover rate for TSM? Andy Dian's brothers have come in and gone. Players come and gone. Leadership come and gone. Andy has a very hands-on approach to his organization, and it can be overwhelming to the point of burnout. Andy did an amazing job of building a brand that attracts a loyal following, sponsors, and top talent. If he lets go of the reins and lets the talented staff he hires to do what they were hired to do, TSM will flourish. We sit down with Dylan Fraley, Chris Evans, and Shane Osborne from Esports Initiative. There's a link to the full video in the description below. I recommend it. When we hit the topic of speedrunning, they talk about stumbling into a new type of speedrunning that was created out of necessity.
The closest thing that we've had to speedrunning is trying to unlock all the characters in Smash before tournaments. Like we sit there and grind Smash, trying to get everything unlocked for tournaments. We did that for New Orleans. And it's funny to watch.
That is the funniest story, because so what happened was, it really was out of the blue that Smash got ran at New Orleans. It was like a month and like 2 weeks or something, And I got a message from Pete, the marketing guy, and he was like, hey, let's talk Smash. And I called him, and he's like, okay, so we need to put together this tournament in like less than 2 months. Like, can you think we can do it? I'm like, oh god, well, this will be a roller coaster. And it's like right before midterms are coming up and everything, and it was just insane. And what happened was Nintendo didn't get the Wii U sent over to the office in Columbus in time, so they all got shipped to New Orleans. So like we flew in like Wednesday or something, or Wednesday or Thursday. So we had to grind all of those Wii U's, and it takes like 20 or 30 minutes depending if you're really good at it. But I don't play Smash 4. I play all the other ones. I don't play Smash 4. I'm not that good at it. Neither are the other people who are trying to work on this. So all the pro players are like flying in sporadically and getting tours of the facility, and they're all like, "Oh yeah, sure, we'll come help and set it up." And they're like, "Oh yeah, here, you got a GameCube controller? I left mine at the hotel. Yeah, okay. Oh yeah, you have to do it this way. And it was crazy. We were working on that all day to get that done, and we managed to do it, but it was a nightmare. And then we had to use in order to get all the unlocked characters. There's like a minimum. There's a maximum allotment for how many times you can use one credit card on Wii U's. We found out. So we had to go around all the venue and be like, hey Adam, or hey John, or all the MLG guys, like, can we borrow your credit card? Yeah, we need to unlock these. They're like, oh yeah, sure, man. We'll just got to expense it. And it was so funny that we found out that there's a hard limit on that, and we had to make emails for each single one. So we had to keep. There's a limit on the number of phone number. Like, for phone number can only have so many Google accounts. So we had to keep going around like, hey, can we? How many times left do you have on your phone? Like, okay, here, send me the text for how to log into it and everything. It was
crazy.
Insane.
That is how ESI speedruns.
The new version.
That's what we do.
Yeah, that's our version of speedrunning. But on a more serious note, there has been some people who have asked us about speedrunning. I know a really good speedrunner. He does Pokemon Blue. His name's Shenanigans. He's been to Awesome Games Done Quick.
What's that place with all the shit on the walls again?
Shenanigans. Are you gonna pistol whip me? Don't pistol whip me.
Sorry. Thank you.
No, it's fine. Yeah, but yeah, he talked to us recently about doing some sort of speedrunning event, and because he said there's a lot of interest, and we're definitely open to doing that. And it's really awesome to see him, like, how good he is. Like, he broke the world record for Pokemon Blue, and like, he plays Smash with us as well. I know him on a pretty good level from traveling to Dayton, Ohio, and going to their weeklies there. So he's a really cool guy. He's local to Columbus, and we definitely want to do something in that area. We're just not sure exactly how we want to do it yet.
And now for the good stuff, the games. In League of Legends LCK, Summer Rocks Tigers vs. Samsung Galaxy. Rocks Tigers looking like the clear winner from Oracle's Elixir, showing a kill-to-death ratio of 1.74 and going 37-7 for the spring season, compared to Samsung Galaxy with a kill-to-death ratio of 0.95 and going 22 for 22 for the spring season. But those are just the numbers. Let's watch the action. Game 1. In the bot lane, Gorilla getting aggressive, finally 11 minutes into the game, brings the heat on Ruler, pushing him and Wraith back with Prey on their front, and Smeb coming in from the rear to surround them with Decrepify and Torment, wearing him down, making Ruler the first blood of the game. Ambition meets up with Gorilla in the river. Both sides get reinforcements from Peanut and Wraith, then Kuro and Crown, then Prey and Ruler. Gorilla goes down in the river, and Tigers go tit for tat, taking Crown. Samsung working on the Mountain Drake. Tigers wanting them to come out and play, and they do play, but they like to play rough, taking out Gorilla, whose death is justified by taking out Ambition. Peanut jumps into the Mountain Drake lair and says, I immediately regret this decision. Gorilla, on the retreat from the mid lane into the river, flashes away and hits his ultimate, but he's done for. And poor Smeb, he gets tied down by Cuvée, so the rest of Samsung can gank him. He puts up a decent fight, but gets taken down in the gravity field. Smeb teleporting into the jungle, matched by Cuvée's TP to join the war. Smeb gets overwhelmed to death. Tigers retreat and split in the river. Prey flashes away and heals, but Crown is on top of him to his end. Rox and Samsung meet smack dab in the middle. Wraith, Gorilla, and Crown go down quickly. Samsung on the retreat. Peanut takes Ruler, and Cuvée takes Koro. Samsung surrounds the Tigers in the lower river. Smeb gets picked out from the herd, is surrounded and taken out. Koro is the next stray getting killed, giving Samsung an even bigger lead. Koro is the only man left standing. He's 3/4 of the map away as he and his dead teammates watch Samsung take their Nexus in Game 1. Game 2, Ambition in the bot lane, enjoying throwing his spears from a distance, gets up close and personal with a 4-man gank. Whoops. Cry in the mid lane gets locked down, flashes away, but not far enough. Smeb TPing into the lower jungle to hit Wraith on either side with Gorilla. Wraith gets the death by Jaws. Smeb, not the brightest crayon in the box, hits Samsung's flank before his teammates are there to help, and he pays the price for it, followed by Peanut and Prey going down, giving Samsung the 4-2 lead. Tigers take a magical journey to the other side, getting the surprise kill on Ruler. Prey takes Wraith, Crown takes Prey, which then keeps the score even at 6-6. On Gorilla's retreat, Ambition is ambitious and follows him up the river, spears him. Gorilla stuns him, gets away, magical journeys away, but Ambition takes the same magical journey to finish him off on the other side. Ambition, nice spear throw into the Gorilla. Samsung on the retreat in the top lane. Crown takes Gorilla. Samsung starts to push back. Cuvée takes Smeb, Crown takes Peanut, and Samsung commands the game with a 12-6 lead. Tigers get a little comeback when they gank Ambition, take Ruler, they lose Gorilla, but take Wraith in a 3-1 kill battle. Samsung pushing into Tigers' base. Smeb pushes too far into the beast and gets eaten alive. Samsung pushing further in, takes out Prey within his own walls. Tigers back off as Samsung takes their mid tower and inhibitor and decide it's a good time to push forward and take the Nexus tower. They lose Crown in the cocoon, but Cry goes down with him. Samsung retreats to battle another day. Tigers making a comeback with Cry taking out Ruler in the bot lane, pushing into the jungle to take Wraith, pushing hard into Ambition. Cuvée hits the Tigers' flank to give relief to Ambition and takes out Peanut. Ambition eventually falls. Cuvée takes out Gorilla before he goes down, and then Crown takes Prey. Samsung all up in Tigers' base with no towers left, takes out an inhibitor. Cuvée takes Prey, Ruler takes Cry, and Gorilla goes down with his team's Nexus. Samsung Galaxy takes this game and the match. Nice work. Now, here are the highlights from Dota, Counter-Strike, Hearthstone, Mortal Kombat, and Overwatch with the musical backing of Brian DiBiagio.
Looking like a disaster potential for DC.
They've already dropped Doom. Swindle is going to turn back around. They throw out the Hanskin ulti. It's actually a lot of damage onto all of them, and that's going to be DC dropping incredibly low here. He's still getting the full duration. Resolution taking a ton of damage, and now maybe silenced enough to find the kill. They toss forward Hanskin. That's going to end up being the Faceless Void going down, and Weeha doing everything he can still. Only the Tusk has died. Hanskin goes down. Now Misery didn't light it away. What was that?
That's a play. What?
Well, Misery's still gonna drop, but that was awesome. Shards, run away, old man.
Oh.
This might be a little bit too deep. The Dream Coil, the Veil. Oh my god, the damage! They're gonna be able to do a ton to them. They are gonna end up losing Misery, but poor God in this Chronosphere. Oh no, this was not how it was supposed to go. The Swindles, meanwhile, is gonna be doomed up. Roar onto Limp. Oh my god, and everybody from Complexity is gonna end up. I don't think that they really can. The pipe's gonna wear off. That might be their time to go, and actually Resolution turns back around. Silence for the moment, able to take it off. He's still got that Radiance burn going, and ends up dropping down the Dream Coil onto a couple. Controlled for the moment, drops down the Chronosphere, and is going to be able to catch on to several. Sock's going to be the only one, but it looks like they have enough damage. Triple kill for Resolution. Hanskin got a full duration ulti, but might be able to find that other one. Ult able to get the toss back onto Resolution. Time walks away all the damage. Now we have Veil, Dream Coil, Silence as well, and why not just make it happen again? They Blinding Light back and buyback for the Crystal Maiden, but it's not enough. Jetsi is going to drop out of mana, out of time, controlled and killed. Meanwhile, Resolution going to jump forward a bit more. The Radiance burn all over the place. Weehaw not going to get killed off. They buy back another 2 heroes, and he ends up getting a Eul Scepter lift up. Hanskin dropping low. Is going to be able to drop away from there as well.
No,
Weehaw finally gets out. Are you kidding me? Weehaw, what a player. Oh man, and he escapes. Nobody dead for DC with 3 buybacks already used for complexity. Sox is taking a lot of damage, but the Blinding Light keeping him alive. Chronosphere is back up. Is he going to be able to do it? Oh, he just has dropped, but he's going to have it back up when he spawns, and this might be the moment for them to go. He actually just time walks away, does not want to push his luck. And Swindles, very aggressive.
He's got his Manta. He's got his Manta.
Oh god, Manta dodges away. That's going to be Jesse going down. Trying to escape the jump forward. They kill him off. Faceless. Oh, they're looking for it. Limp actually going to toss back, and all of a sudden, oh, Weehaw is already there. He gets caught in the Chronosphere, and Hanskin doing everything that he can, but just look at the damage. Limp is going to end up going down here as well. Godlike streak for this Faceless Void at this point. 12-2 and 12. And it looks like another Barracks is going to end up falling. They pipe up, 2 tanky, 2 survivable. And they just don't have enough to deal with this.
You know what DC stands for? Duracell right now. Battery, strong, never giving up, everlasting, and it looks like, oh, there we go.
Lifton, Weehaw finally does fall, and they do love Limp for the moment. Actually taking a lot of damage. A really nice first split. I'm not sure if it's going to be enough to finish them all off. Resolution's still alive. Just kills off Limp, and somehow is going to survive through this. Is he going to be able to get away? Oh, God. Lift up with the Eul Scepter, trying to chase him down. He finishes off his Diffusal Blade, but...
Again, NIP just going for a fast play, but not getting the angle onto Nico's face. 2 CT, 2-man spray down for Exist. So he's got problems, Dan.
Speedy did drop on M4, but he has a mask and a flash, and why not, Krujay?
Disgusting behavior.
And he's got the great spot with the end. Oh, wow. Okay, so that's it's basically a more mobile AWP for Chris J. James, because they're all headshots. Headshots for days from Chris J with that scout play. Is he going to get any more here? Another shot coming in. Doesn't get the frag with that one, but it's a 4 versus 2 here for Mousesports. So Chris J coming up massive for the team. Another tag coming in. Gets the finish as well.
No.
Just solo killing the entire team by himself.
Is somewhat rare. Get right, has taken the bomb down. It is going to be collected, but it's not a place where they want the bomb to be lost. Get right looking to have a timely push through the doors and go for the retake here. Speed not going to be ready for him, but Pit's going to steal the frag. And now they're looking for... oh, there's a teammate running distraction.
Because of that rotation. If they get good flashes in here, Nico should just wreck everyone. He'll take the first frag. That might be all that... I don't think he's going to get a sneaky 1 versus 1. See Nico's waiting for more peaks, and he's going to get exactly that.
So NIP will be wondering where that went. Dennis going to push it on his own, well on his own. Oh, Nex was so close to getting taken down there as well. Exist still alive, but he is not in the sight. Now he's dead.
So this is a great result of Freiburg with this Deagle. He could do insane work. 2 frags out of Freiburg, looking for the 3rd, but he's not going to pick it up this time. But he's done enough for his team. Just get right in pit left. Very hard to get. What? Oh, Gerrit gets into position with the pistol, and he's going to drop the bomb, and there's no time to finish the round. NIP may have done this. The Pit can survive in time. He's got 1 second. He'll do it. Oh my God.
Bloodmage Thelanos plus Blizzard is going to actually be a clear here. He gets the Frostbolt to base for 4 damage and attack for 2. So he gets in 6 damage here, but Amnesiac doesn't have a lot of burst behind this. You know, he has this Malygos, but nothing to kind of couple it with. He has a
weird deck.
I mean, they're all weird, right? All the Reno Jackson Freeze Mage decks are always really strange.
Yeah.
I wonder what the reaction to the Reno Jackson's going to be for Niagara. I bet you kind of expect it.
Yeah.
Nope, the IRL went up pretty big. He's like, oh, that just happened.
Yeah.
No way this could go wrong, right? Yeah. I don't think there's a card. I mean, Eater of Secrets does it kill you here?
Weird match, but you know, Amnesiac is going to go ahead and take the win in game number 1, and Nyria's got to Nyria's going to have to Leroy double cold-blood and conceal just to hopefully go for a 2-turn lethal.
Yeah,
he's going to
no
flip the board.
Yeah, there's no taunt and the board's full here. Yeah.
That means Amnesiac can't play. Does he have enough? He's got 5, 6, 7, 11, 12, 13. Because right now on the board he's got 11, 12, 13 damage. So he just attacks him with everything. Hellfires. Wolf Rider Power Overwhelming, and that's 8 mana total.
I mean, yeah, you could have just like
even just Wolf
one
Rider.
of those guys. Yeah, it doesn't even matter how many.
So many ways to do it. But if he hadn't picked up Hellfire,
Nyria gives a big giggle to the Wolf Rider there. That's a card you don't see.
Yeah, that was actually a really smart play. I knew there was a next level play in there somewhere. It just took me a bit to find it. All right, well he's gonna go for it, and Nyria has to know that he's not dead, because Amnesiac just would have went for it right away if he was dead. But does Nyria have he doesn't have enough damage. He needs, what does he need? He doesn't have any more flash heals.
Still 6 left over. He's not gonna have a board left over after this turn. But Amnesiac's not gonna do anything either here. So
that's what's gonna come down to the wire.
Here's the thing: can you afford to tap? And that's why Amnesiac's attacking here.
Because without Loatheb, without like arming out on the deck, it's hard for them to sort of push through against a lot of these Doomsayer decks. But that's gonna be Amnesiac taking game number 4, so he's gonna go up to a 3-1 lead. Sap, he's okay, but I guess Nyria's just gonna all in here and hope that something sticks. But
yeah,
oh man,
26. All right, so let's just keep him alive. So he takes 4. There's 5 power in play. It puts him down to 13, right? There's that 2, 4, 6. It's not enough mana though, right?
I mean, the thing is, he could just, kill the board.
Wait a minute, this is just
fatigue him out.
2,
yeah, but
4, 5. No, is he 1 short? Oh, the fatigue damage, yeah. Fatigue damage.
He could have just played. He could have just
round 1 in winners. Did you see his killer though? His cancels? Oh yeah, we're so sick. He plays killer like a run cancel character. It's so. That's why I like watching him play. I was like, this man is crazy. But yeah, shout out to him. Unfortunately, we won't be seeing him at the finals. Yeah, he doesn't even live here anymore. No, that's what. At least if he was here, we'd get to see him. But no. All right, now this should be the kill here. So it looks like Blackstorm, nice, putting him back in the corner. Blackstorm taking a strong first round. Oh, that was good, but I was trying to insult you there. I know. I didn't say anything, man. Just kidding. All right. Oh, catches it, but no conversion. Oh, and a great down one anti-air again. Blackstorm is probably the most consistent anti-air we've seen today. Absolutely. Those down ones and rolls sometimes. He's really great at knowing at what range to do what anti-air. Blackstorm is, he's losing in the life department, but he's been so awake this whole match against Chicuelo. And oh, here we go. That was a little bit of a late break. This should do it. That's going to be game. Yep, and Blackstorm double eliminating Chicuelo. Wow.
Perkz laying down all the shots necessary, so someone's gonna have to get onto him. Louis gonna have to do something big right here. He does have the Deadeye available, so let's see what he can do.
Louis is a player, I have to say, I did not know much about coming into the event, and the fact that Clutch has made it to the semis as easily as they have, I have to feel like Louis is just a driving force here. He's got so many eliminations. Look at that,
what a flashbang.
Racking up the kills, and now Cloud9 is pinned in their spawn. They're gonna finish this map.
And there it is. They should be able to finish this one off right now. Louis has about 4 dead right now on the side of Cloud9. That looks like 3 dead now, and there it is. Finishes it off. That was the first time we've seen Cloud9 with their backs against the wall right now.
It's Cloud9, something most other teams would only dream of.
Now keep in mind here, Cloud9 is going to be switching, going on the offensive. If they end up beating the time, it's going to be 2-1. But right now, Clutch is up 1-0 in this series.
For the defense, actually. Oh, it was the res. Yeah.
That res was huge. Just at the very end of the game, though, Lumberjack being taken out while he had that resurrect available and Mercy healing him
Got
from behind.
the tank ult already. Yeah, that Mercy tail definitely helping out, and they actually got a kill on Reaver. Look, that was a rocket jump. Bastion tank can rocket jump, and he gets 3 kills. Oh my goodness, Louis Lumberjack.
Let's back off, let them push, and now it looks like Genji pushing in past that shield right there, breaking that barrier, and here comes the aggressiveness from Cloud9 trying to recapture this point.
Surefour's Genji has come out. We've seen him on McCree and Bastion so frequently lately. You may have forgotten that he's one of the best Genjis in the world, and here he's going to show us just basically hopping around, staying alive at full health all the time, sinking tons of damage. Now he's got the Dragon Blade ultimate, goes straight for the Mercy. Excellent choice. The Earth Shatter whiffs, and Surefour's going to scoop 3-4 kills here. Even with the deflect, he does finally fall.
Cloud9 is going to end up taking this series 4-1.
Yeah, Cloud9 clutch. Great job to them to actually draw blood, basically. They're the first point that Cloud9 has lost in this entire tournament, so Clutch will fall to the lower bracket. They're still...
Well, that's it. We hope you learned and laughed a little, and we'll see you next week.